I don't know how, but I'm managing to somehow keep up with preview guides this season. Maybe it's recording the audio bits immediately after watching the episodes. Maybe it's because the amount of stuff I have to record is keeping me away from playing Final Fantasy, the critically acclaimed MMORPG that has a free trial up to level 60, including the Heaven's Ward expansion. Have you tried it? I know I have. It's keeping more of my time normally, but right now, what's keeping more of my time is these preview guides, because I watched 4 new episodes today, and I'm going to share with you what I think of them. Because this is a 2021 summer anime preview, from a different perspective. Our first real sports anime this season is Remain, a pretty boys playing water polo anime. And we're introduced to our main character, Minato, who is in a coma. And he wakes up, he's got amnesia. He's forgotten the last 3 years of his life. The last 3 years he spent honing his perfectly toned body into a perfect, award-winning water polo machine. Of course, now he has no idea what water polo is, and everybody just keeps on reminding him how good he used to be. He's got no interest in water polo anymore. He just sees this sport thinking, what's this weird thing? I'm not going to be like that. My body does not look like that. I'm not going to be caught wearing those tight Speedos. Of course, we all know he will be. It's blatantly clear by not just the anime itself, but the first episode. But it's a thin vein of excuse to introduce us to a sport, tell us how it works, and introduce to our main characters. The whole amnesia thing is a bit cliche, but again, I'm willing to let that slide because sports anime, it's not just guy finds sport for the first time, it's guy rekindling his love for a sport, despite not knowing what it is. Although we all know the real reason why he's back in the sport. He finds himself face to face with the hot girl he saw in the magazine, Chinu. And she seems to know him, and not just that, she takes him by the tie and kisses him. Clearly they had some kind of relationship or promise going on. Who knows? But whatever happens, he had a car accident, he got amnesia, and he's going to be rekindling his love for water polo, quite possibly due to rekindling his love with Chinu. It's going to be interesting seeing how his former classmates and former teammates react to him going back into a sport, and the people at MAPPA are pretty good at this type of anime, so I'm expecting it to be a pretty decent, pretty straightforward by the numbers sports anime. Now Remain isn't something which I'm too interested in. I'm not interested in water polo, I'm not interested in watching pretty boys getting wet, and I'm okay with sports anime in general, just not this one. If you do want to watch Remain, you can find it airing over at Funimation. The detective is already dead. You could have fooled me since he's very much alive during this episode. It's another 1 hour special, which is the worst nightmare when I'm trying to catch up with these bloody things. But this anime is about a fictional detective who calls herself Siesta, and her Watson, or her sidekick as she calls her, Kimizuka Kimihiko, or as she calls him, Kimi. I mean, with a name like that, it makes sense for him to have some kind of nickname, doesn't it? But Siesta, apparently also a code name, is a cute, legendary detective, as she ends up being called by the end of the first episode, as she so gallantly saves the day on a plane from some weird monster. Now, the creature man thing isn't really explained in the first episode. There's some kind of weird beings around the world. Kimi is sort of dragged into it against his will, just told to go on a plane with his attaché case, ends up getting dragged into solving a crime on a plane, because everybody hates it when you get on a plane and suddenly the flight attendants are saying, is there a detective on board? I mean, it could be worse. Frankly, I didn't say, is there a doctor on board, or is there someone who can pilot a plane on board? Well, I'd hope so, pilot, but if the pilot's incapacitated, suddenly we're watching Airplane. And so we learn about Siesta, we learn about Kimi, and they save the day on the plane. Kimi goes home to find Siesta at home with him. And so the loving days of detective and sidekick go forward until she dies. Yeah, she dies at the end of episode 1. We don't see her dying. I don't think she is actually dead, but she's dead. And he's all lonely because he did propose to her. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's an adorable silver-haired beauty, but we're also middle school students. So this one seems to have lost its main drive for the first episode. Siesta was the main draw of this for me, and if she's already dead, what point is there in me watching the rest of it? I mean, Kim was kind of anonymous about it unless he's learned something from her. Maybe he has learned something. We'll find out throughout the episodes, won't we? I probably won't watch more unless I'm running out of stuff to watch, which this season so far I'm not. If you do want to watch this one, it's also on Funimation. The Duke of Death and his Maid. That's definitely a total of an anime to conjure with. And so we enter the anime, and we find out it's just CG. That's not really a bad thing. I mean, some people don't like CG anime. I'll definitely try it if it looks interesting. And the whole premise of The Duke of Death and His Maid has me face-palming the moment I read it. It's a story about a maid called Alice and her master, Botchan, all alone in a mansion together. Alice wants nothing more than to fall in love with and be lewd all over her master's body. Unfortunately, that's not exactly a good idea, since the master, the Duke, has been cursed with the power of death. He's been cursed with the power of the Grim Reaper, and anything he touches is killed. Be it small furry animals, when he's a child, to flowers and anything which he comes in contact with. That doesn't stop her from being hugely provocative altogether, dressing in such a manner that her cleavage is always on display, and lifting up her skirt so you can see her stockings and suspenders in an alluring fashion. Don't get me wrong, Alice knows she's got beauty, and is very much willing to flaunt it. And the master, he has the maturity of a 10-year-old. He doesn't know where to look. He gets embarrassed super easy, which just makes Alice want to tease him more. We learn a bit about his whole situation and how everybody else pities him. His family's looking to potentially disown him, and nobody wants to be near him because he's scary. A single touch could kill you. It's kind of sad, really. But despite the sadness of the anime itself lets itself down by the lewdness and the kind of stupidness of the whole premise of a maid wanting to get close, pretty much playing the eat the food which I'm holding my mouth game with him. Which is ridiculous, really. Without that, it would be half watchable. With that, don't bother. You can find it on Funimation. Life Lessons with Uramichi Oniisan is an anime which you look at and you think, what is that? Because the intro and the entire artwork for this show is about a super happy, smiling kids TV presenter with colourful mascots in the background and colourful characters all around him. And as such, we enter into the first episode and we learn that, yes, is a gymnastics coach turned TV presenter, teaching kids, having fun in a kids TV programme, playing with kids and teaching them about life, about the bad stuff about life. You see, Life Lessons with Uramichi Oniisan, it's not life lessons about how to have fun, it's about the realities of being an adult. And how he talks weirdly sometimes because he's hungover, and how growing old is causing all manner of pains. Because Uramichi-san, or Uramichi Oniisan, is a weird, dry humour anime. And it's not just Uramichi as well, because you've got the other characters. You've got his friends from school, who are the mascot characters, who are always chatting about behind his back, and always getting picked on by him. You got the two support cast members, Ikiteru and Utano, who are the singers who have completely wrong lives themselves. Utano, well, she's not single, she's got a boyfriend who does not want to marry her at all, despite all her friends getting married and she just wanting to settle down. And Ikiteru, who, I can't remember what his deal is, but he's got some kind of deal as well. All in all, this show is strange to watch. It's hard to explain, but it is very, very funny. It's that dry humour that I do like. Random kids learning about realities of life and how being an adult sucks. Not going to be life lessons for them. Life lessons for us, maybe. And the other thing about this anime is the cast list. I mean, I don't always talk about cast lists in these previews. Sometimes do. This cast list is stacked. I mean, our main character is Hiroshi Kamiya, who is a great character anyway. But you've got the likes of Mamoru Miyano and Nana Mizuki. His best friends are voiced by Tomokazu Sugita and Yuichi Nakamura. You got big names all over shop doing craziness and awesome, and the minor characters as well. I mean, apparently Daisuke Ono is in there somewhere. No idea where. We'll find out, I'm sure. So, boys and girls, are you sitting comfortably, or is your back aching because you've been working too hard? If you want to watch Uramichi Oniisan, you can find it on Funimation. And so that was Remain, The Detective Is Already Dead, The Duke of Death and His Maid, and Life Lessons with Uramichi Oniisan. What did you think of them? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and follow me on Twitch for daily streams including Ring Fit Adventure. Until next time, thanks for tuning in, bye bye.